Hey, everybody. Welcome to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. I'm Kristi Brower here with my sister, co host, and partner in crime, Katie Weaver. Hey, Katie.
Hello. How's
How's
it
it
going?
going?
Oh,
Oh,
I'm super good.
you
Yeah.
know, good. Glad to hear. I am too. I watched the new Dune movie this afternoon, and I have to admit, I'm still pretty confused.
Oh.
I didn't read the book, so
Hmm.
it's a lot. And obviously, it's not the whole story, it's only episode one. I don't know. Rhonda and I were like, are we too dumb to understand this movie? It was kind of hard. It was good. It was cool, but
We're too dumb for
I
this
kind of
movie.
got it, started to get it at the end, but it did take a minute. So,
Mhm.
but it was fun.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I am not familiar with Dune at all. I don't know.
It is a little Star Warsy. Just going to say. Dune fans will be like,
Uh,
no, it's not.
oh, well, GB says the Dune podcast on LPN can help.
Oh, good to know. Good to know because I had a lot of WTF moments. Like, I do not understand what's happening. Yeah.
Maybe you're not too dumb after all.
Yeah. I mean, like, acting wise, special effects wise, stuff like that was super cool. It was just the story was a little like, okay, it's gonna
You
take
were
me a little while
unsure.
to understand this.
Got it.
Yeah,
Well, I see what you mean. Well,
yeah.
I've been so busy in my studio today. Well, actually, my husband's a home inspector, and the first of the month or the very end of the month, he gets a big download of all of these inspections he has to do for banks for new construction.
Hmm.
And I always ride with him because it's boring days, and my shining personality is all kinds of fun in the truck. Just kidding. I'm probably a big pain in the ass that constantly needs to go find another Maverick so I can pee again. But anyway, 26 inspections in the last 2 days.
Oh, good heavens.
26. My God.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's a
I'm
lot.
not complaining, but holy. But this afternoon I finally got a chance to really get in my studio and finish up a few projects. So I have a little show and tell.
Well, let's see it. Come
So
on.
I'm working on uh, a heat foiling project for my Etsy page. And so this is my, hold on where you can see them. This is
Ooh.
my Celtic tree collection. So they'll be on Etsy later
Oh,
this week. So
oh,
there's
it's
there's
beautiful.
6 of
Wow.
them.
Ooh. Oh, wow.
Oh, that's
Oh,
upside down. So
however,
anyway,
it is gorgeous.
yeah, isn't that pretty?
Wow, how fun. Oh
Oh,
my god.
well, somebody doesn't know what the hell they're doing. Okay. And the last one. Oh, correct. Okay. Yeah.
Those are
So,
gorgeous.
yeah. So that is yeah, that's what I've been working on. But I also had this sun catcher that I started to make. Literally, I poured this in resin like, oh God, probably more than 6 months ago.
Well,
And I've never
wow.
sat down to finish it. But I
What
had
the
to get
hell have you
my
been doing all this time?
true
Just kidding.
crime.
Yeah. And getting a kid off to college and stuff like that. But
Right? Yeah. Well, they'll be in that collection will be in my Etsy store at the end of this week, but I want to show you this too. It's
fun.
going on Etsy too, but I'm so excited about it. So it's a moon phase sun catcher. And it's
Ooh.
really long, but you have the phases of the moon, and then in
Uh-huh.
between it you have all of the Swarovski crystals. It's a
Beautiful.
little bit long to be able to show the whole thing to you, but
I have a version of this that you gave me for Christmas.
yes, you do. Not yeah, sans the crystals. That's the new
Yeah.
edition. But anyway, so
So
it's a
pretty
sun
though.
catcher, a long one that could be hung by like a door or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Anyway, I love
Gorgeous.
it. I'm so I'm feeling the vibe again. I creativity is a real ebb and flow for me. And when it's ebbing, I'm frustrated and a little pissed off. But right now I'm in the flow. So
Well,
you got to
good.
take big advantage of it. But yeah, isn't that
You
pretty?
do.
I'm
Yes,
so
it
in
is.
love with the shine. And honestly, the camera doesn't really do it justice. But in
It's
the sun,
beautiful.
it is amazing.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
cool. Well, how fun.
Yeah. So keep an eye on my Etsy store, and that is Joyful Goddess Designs, because the that heat foiling project is going up, and I've got others coming up too. That's just the first in a collection that I'm going to put together. But this
Fun.
sun catcher will go up probably tomorrow. We'll see.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's so exciting. How fun.
Yeah, lots of good stuff going on.
Well, this is our Wednesday night case update live stream, and we have lots of cases to live stream, but it would not be True Crime Paranormal if we didn't first have a little word from our sponsor.
This is true.
Yes.
Okay. Let me get into character here.
Please do.
Okay. Well, here we go.
Hi, doctor. Thanks for agreeing to meet with me. I really hope you can help.
You are so welcome. What seems to be the problem?
I just can't seem to focus these days.
Okay, sure. Well, let's try something. I'm going to show you a picture, and you blurt out the first thing that comes to mind, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Here we go. So how about this bush?
The Lawnmower 4.0.
Oh. Okay. How about this picture of a deflated balloon?
Oh, the Reviver ball toner from Manscaped.
Really? Odd. Okay. How about this hairy little piggy snout?
Oh, well, of course, the Weed Whacker. That is the nose trimmer from manscaped.com.
Okay. I think I know what's the matter. Yep. That gives me what I need to know. I know what's going on here. You have a bad case of Manscaped fever. Don't worry, though. There is a cure. Just head over to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping with the code TrueCrimeParanormal at manscaped.com. Are you okay over there?
Yes. I feel better already, doctor. Thank you.
Okay, so that's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and just use the code TrueCrimeParanormal. Experience premium grooming with Manscaped.
Well, there you have it. Thanks, Doc.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm. Well, that being said, let's get to the big T, which is Brian Laundrie's body has been identified officially.
Yeah. Yes.
It is, in fact, him. It was identified by dental records.
Yeah.
And they have been unable to identify manner or cause of death because, well, it's bones. I don't know if you guys are a Bones fan, you know, the TV show Bones.
But
I'm a diehard myself.
Course.
They're sending his bones to a forensic anthropologist. I'm just kidding. I just wanted to be there. Like, I know it's ridiculous,
Right.
but they're going to send the bones to a forensic anthropologist. They'll do DNA and they'll do what they do, you know, stare at the bones for hours till they figure out how he died. You know, I'm sure that's how it really happens, right?
And they are saying that they do think that they should be able to come up with cause of death, though they don't have it yet. But so what happened is that they said that from the autopsy, cause of death was inconclusive. They also said that they did not have DNA back. Well, some people took that to mean that it was inconclusive that this was Brian Laundrie. That's not true. What they meant was they don't have DNA back yet because that takes time. It just does, and they just don't have it.
Well, and they actually haven't even done it yet. The forensic anthropologist is going to do that.
Yeah, that's all coming. They identified him through dental records. They are absolutely certain that's him. There's a lot of conspiracy theories racing around about it.
Oh my goodness.
It's Brian. It is.
Yeah, it's him. There's some big, all this stuff. It's a scam. It's not really him. He's still on the run. No.
We were all hoping he'd be alive, you know, and that he would have to stand for what he's done, but it's just not the case.
Well, and sometimes things are just as straightforward as they look. And in this case, they are, you know. So that's going to be really interesting. I'm very curious to see what the forensic anthropologist can figure out about how he died and when he died and those kinds of things. Because, of course, his body was submerged for
Yeah.
weeks. And, water just does its thing. Predators do their thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I just feel like at this point we have to accept it,
Yeah.
and dental records are very accurate, they
Yeah.
are. And depending, I'll tell you, you guys, I have had a ton of dental work. If I were to be identified by dental records, it would be very accurate because I've had some very specific things done.
Mm-hmm.
And, he may have too. I don't know, but they do feel very confident that it is in fact him.
Yeah.
It sucks though. It's a really anticlimactic way for this to end.
I
Like
think
this
that's why
is,
people are so determined that just maybe it's not him,
yeah, maybe it'll,
because yeah, this has created so much public buy-in,
yeah. Right, right. And, there's a lot of people that are like, well, there's no justice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there kind of is. He's
Mm.
dead,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
there are questions about, of course, I want to know what his parents knew. What did they know from day one?
Yeah.
What have they been hiding this whole time? I think
Mm-hmm.
there's some serious questions there that
Yeah.
need to be answered, that the community does have a right to know, but that we probably won't know for a while.
Yeah.
Because we do have to also acknowledge the fact that they are also grieving parents.
Mm-hmm.
For better or worse, whatever they did, they have lost their son.
Yeah.
And he did drag them into this situation, just as he dragged Gabby and her family into this situation.
Yeah.
And so I feel like we kind of have to give them some time.
Yeah.
And then I do really hope that we get some answers from them
Mm-hmm.
about what they knew. And I don't know. The way they've handled this whole thing is weird. But again, how do we know what we would do?
Right.
What if your son came home from a trip and said, I accidentally killed my girlfriend? I don't think he accidentally killed Gabby at all.
No.
Strangulation is a very intentional act. But,
No,
what
but
if
it's
he,
true that we don't know what he told them.
what he said? What if he said, I accidentally killed her? I just drove home because I didn't know what else to do. And now they're in this situation where they know,
Mm-hmm.
and now they have to figure out what to do and how to help him because he is their son. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It just it brings up a lot of questions for me.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we get the answers, but I don't know that we will.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the answers we will not get.
Yeah.
But yeah, GB, let's make this search for every person as strong as this story. And that is probably one of the very best things that this case has done, is to shine a light on the fact that there are lots of missing people and
Yeah.
that not everybody gets the huge response that these two have received.
Yeah.
And that's okay, Cranky. You don't have to feel sorry for them. That's you feel however you want to
Yeah.
feel. That's just my
Totally.
perspective.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, there's been a fair amount of denial going on, as well as definitely covering and who knows what all. But yeah,
for sure.
God, it's
For
just a
sure.
horrible situation.
It is 100%. But it has really shined the light on, hey, what about all the other missing people in the
Yeah.
US? And why doesn't this happen every time somebody goes missing? And how do we fix that? And there have been, a lot of conversations, national conversations being had about that. And I think, if there's anything positive that can come out of this, it is that.
Definitely. And yes, Gabby's parents, GB, you are right on. They are pushing really hard. They have created a foundation. They really are trying to help support, that this movement as being something that helps look for all missing people like this.
Exactly. That everybody gets, the helicopters and the search teams and the dogs and all that,
Yeah. Oh yeah, the laundry's attitude towards Gabby's family has been appalling.
It has been. It's been horrifying to me. I can't imagine, what people what they were thinking, to treat them the way that they did. I mean, my God, they just lost their daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. The whole thing is just bizarre beyond
Yeah.
belief. But that's where we're at with it. His body has been sent to a forensic anthropologist. We will eventually know, it will be made public eventually what they determine about cause and manner of death, about time of death, any of the things that they can determine from his body. They will confirm DNA also. But there's really no question here that it is him. So feels weird, but we move on from it,
Yeah, and learn from it. I
Mhm,
mean,
and learn from it.
obviously, those cop cams out of Moab will go down in infamy as in domestic violence trainings and
Yes.
the
Well, there
conversation
is
about
an
domestic
independent
violence.
investigation going on
Yeah,
into that incident because of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Yep, there will be some growth that way because of what happened there. The other thing that came out this week, though, is that, the police said that we know where Brian is. No, we know where Brian is, right?
And they did not.
Here's what they're saying now, that they didn't know where Brian was because when Brian's mother returned that Wednesday because they did have them under surveillance, supposedly, when they
Right.
returned that Wednesday morning with the Mustang, they said she had a baseball cap on and they thought she was Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did not
Yeah.
confirm.
Yep.
They didn't
Yep.
confirm it. And that
Obviously.
they
And
have come
she
out.
and Brian weren't built the same. Like, that was a
No,
big miss, a really big miss.
a really big miss.
Yeah.
They have come out and said that they recognize that they did make a big error there. And
Yes.
honestly, I think it's pretty good that they could even admit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there goes Brian in capris, flowered top, and childbearing hips, right?
Right.
Not
Yeah.
he was a
Exactly.
bald beanpole, so no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um,
Though you're
I'm
reading
glad
our mind, we're talking about that tonight.
exactly.
Yep.
And I think it's just really good that I'm glad that the police admitted it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, there we are with that. I have
Yep.
a couple of other things, but why don't you, Katie? I know we actually had probably the first mass shooting in Idaho
Mm-hmm.
this week, which is shocking, terrifying, horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And Katie, I know you have done a lot of research on the shooter and you want to share with us what you know.
Yeah. So this happened on Monday at the mall in Boise. And two people were killed and multiple people were injured. Everyone that's injured at this point is expected to survive. One of the people injured is a police officer. The people that were killed were a security guard, a woman named Jo Acker. She was 26, a veteran, and a transgender woman.
Mm-hmm.
And the man that was killed was a man from Rupert, Idaho, named Robert Padilla Aguiles.
Mm-hmm.
And he was shot. So those are the things that we know. We know that this guy, so the shooter's name, oh, for God's sake, I do have it. I know it. It's Jacob Bergquist. I was going to say it's embedded in my brain. I've done a ton of research on this.
Yeah. Oh, I had two. Everything I could find. It's
They
not a
both
lot,
did
but
die heroes, particularly Joe.
yes.
Here's what we do know. The Boise police were very aware of this fool. Apparently, he tried to interview our governor clear back in April. And he had this big platform going on that he was a felon from Illinois, from Chicago, where he couldn't carry firearms. I didn't think a felon here could carry either, but anyhow, he thought he
Well, they're
could.
not supposed to.
And he was apparently buying firearms here and had a big platform about how felons should not be banned from buying firearms. Well, gosh, Jacob, I don't think you made the case very well here, considering what you did.
Yeah.
He started shooting in the mall. Apparently, he had been harassing people and causing trouble in the mall for a while.
Yeah, he'd been the police were aware of him because the mall had to call to have him removed on
Mhm.
more than one occasion.
Yeah, he was really problematic. And because of that, and because they'd had problems with him in the past, they had, they were aware of him. So, when he marches into the mall and starts shooting, it's hard for me to not wonder if this really, at the end of the day, really was a hate crime. Because he
Yeah, we don't know.
walked right up to a transgender security guard and shot her in the face. Now, she did, when he came in, she did approach him, trying
Yeah.
to, I'm sure, say, yeah, bro, you're not supposed to be here,
Mm-hmm.
But at any rate, some really disturbing things about him. I want to show you guys a picture of him. I'm going to throw it up here in the chat real quick, or in our videos here, so that you can see him. He had a YouTube channel that's been taken down.
Yeah, it's hard to find a picture of him. All of his social media has been pulled, and there's hardly anything out there that's a picture of him.
Yeah, but this is him shooting a gun. Big surprise. So his social media, oh my God, it's so awful. He had a YouTube channel called Guns and Rodents. Rodents being minorities.
Yeah, he was a racist asshole. Just
yeah, Guns and Rodents, and then YouTube pulled it, and then he put a new one up called Guns and Rodents Reloaded. And those, he was posting mostly gun stuff and shooting and things like that. But I wanted to read the description from his page, but I can't read it. I'm gonna have to pull it up on my phone. Okay, so this is what the about said on his YouTube. I am a convicted felon that is a Boise, Idaho resident in the USA. Many of my early videos of my interactions with squirrels and raccoons were while I was residing in Chicago in the United States. I post anything from interactions with animals to various short clips of buildings or cities or anything else I deem worthy of sharing. As of April 2020, all videos that I film and post are filmed with an iPhone 11. I don't know why it has to say that. This is a firearms first channel, animal rodent second. Guns and Rodents maintains a zero tolerance policy towards ghetto blasters and general Hispanics. You will be blocked, banned, and deleted, whichever is most applicable, no negotiations. This means minorities are not welcome here. Get out of here and do not view any of my videos. Go back to shithole Guatemala.
ugh.
That's what his YouTube description said, you guys.
Yeah, he was a real piece of trash, you guys. Ugh.
A horrifying, horrifying person. This is the guy who he was. So, the other thing that I found that was wild were his Yelp reviews.
Oh yeah, he was a big fan of Yelp reviews.
Loved Yelp reviews. And most of his Yelp reviews were shaming companies that weren't gun friendly enough for him.
Well, yeah, because he was open carrying in businesses, and
One
some
of
businesses
them,
were telling him you cannot have your gun in here.
yeah.
Which in Idaho, any business can tell you can't have your gun in there.
Mm-hmm.
That is allowed.
Yeah. Here's a review from Dakota Bank in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Terrible manager. She's anti-gun, very low IQ. I let her know I carry my firearm openly everywhere I go. She immediately asks for my name as if she's the police. I said, we will not be doing business. She is a dirtbag. She needs to be fired immediately.
Yikes.
And then about a grocery store in Sioux Falls called Hy-Vee. Not gun friendly, at least for employees. Not a fan of the dark suits at all. The manager of the gas station is a great person. A real people person who uses logic with reasoning. I don't know what that is about. But listen to what he says about the athletic club, because I had read a comment from somebody that said that he worked out in their gym in Boise. 'Cause he's only been in Boise for less than a year.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure
anyway,
he moved to Idaho because of the loose gun laws,
it
to be
is.
perfectly honest.
It is. He moved to
Yeah.
Idaho because of the loose gun laws. Uh, so I had read a comment from someone that said that he worked out at their same gym and that it was very creepy and off-putting to see him working out while packing. And it made
Yes.
them very nervous. Well, it should, because he thought he was a good guy with the gun. Huh.
Yeah. Except it
But here's
turns
what he
out
says about
he
this
was not.
gym. Nice place, fairly firearm friendly, though they look down on open carry while working out. So 4 stars. I like cowboy rules. Don't care what some Democrat dirtbag thinks, nor is it being kid friendly in an environment. Guns are kid friendly, guns are for all. Second, why are children even present in a weight room anyway? Morals are a bit off, but I'll still give 4 stars as the weights and space are about as good as you're going to get in Sioux Falls.
He's such a creep.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Why would you wear your gun while working out? Cranky says. Exactly. Why would
Yep.
you? That is ridiculous.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep, and others that I won't read because frankly they're just too racist to share. But I've probably already pushed the limits with that, to be honest. But at any rate, unbelievable. Just unbelievable who this person was. And that is who shot up the mall. That is who shot a security guard in the face and then turned his gun on a Hispanic man for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
No.
And then had a shootout with the police in which they shot him. He lived through the night and then died yesterday.
Well, and it's not known yet because it's possible that he did shoot himself as well. He's dead, GB.
Yes.
He died in the hospital.
Yeah.
They are waiting on an autopsy to actually know what his cause of death was, because there is a question that he did shoot himself, and he did have a shootout with the police as well. So we don't know for sure. There's lots going on in Boise. I watched a news conference with the police yesterday, and they said, there's a lot left to, so much more to investigate. The officer that he shot at, the bullet went through his hat, and he was injured by the shattering of the glass on the passenger or on the driver's side, like door window. But he didn't actually shoot him. It shot through his hat, across the top of his head. And he shot a 68-year-old woman in the parking lot, just in her car.
Yeah.
Just random. It was so random.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really scary. We haven't had a lot of that in Idaho.
No.
Some smaller incidents, but actual just like walk into a mall and start shooting people, we really haven't.
No.
And so it's got everybody, and we live 5 hours from Boise, but Katie's kids live there and are in college there. So.
Now, luckily, I knew on Monday when this was going down that they were both at work, but still, you worry about everyone and their friends, and you also worry about copycats and bullshit once this stuff starts. Here's a little better picture of him.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
Always with the guns. So big questions about how, if he was well known to the Boise police, there is no repository on him, meaning he has not had any charges in Idaho.
No,
he's not been to court.
And that's one of the things that they said is that, they did things like trespass him from the mall, but they weren't like, he wasn't actually charged with anything. It was like they came to help resolve an incident with him, but they didn't actually.
But he was open carrying and he was a felon.
Right, but they apparently weren't aware that he was a felon.
Right. And how did that fall through the cracks?
Yeah, you would think that somebody would have checked, because he shouldn't have had guns at all.
Yeah.
As a felon in Idaho, he's not allowed to have any guns. That's like
the
only rule we have.
Yeah. Yep.
JR, I know he's crazy. He doesn't have any curtains on his windows.
It is illegal for felons to have guns. We don't know why. We're not sure how it happened. What's happened in Idaho is that there are places where people are still being able to buy guns without a background check.
Yeah.
like gun shows and stuff like that and private party that it's still happening. And I don't know. I don't want to turn this show into a big fight about guns because I know what the comments are going to look like later and whatever. But anyway, awful, awful, awful.
Yeah, just awful. Language of Horses says breaking news about Lori on Court TV, Lori Vallow. I do not know what that is about. I did do a search today to see if there was anything new, and there was nothing that I could find that was new. There was a closed hearing that we have no idea what happened. It was just an update on her mental health status.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. Don't know exactly what's going on. So, Language of Horses, if you happen to see that, please let us know what you're talking about. Let's see. Oh, so did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, that's it. That's all we know so far. I'm sure there'll be more coming on who this guy was, but
Yeah,
yep.
we'll share more as we know for sure. So Jelani Day, if you remember, we did Jelani Day's case a
Oh,
few weeks ago.
found it.
Found it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
An attorney for Lori Daybell is alleging manipulation of his client. The lawyer accused the Idaho Department of Mental Health of unethical and possibly illegal activity for disclosing a conversation they had with her to prosecutors.
Oh, okay.
Well, you knew that was going to be coming from Marky Means. He wanted to know every time there was a pill put in her mouth.
Yes. Yeah. So we don't know what that means yet. There haven't been any filings or anything on it yet. So I guess we'll see what happens with that with Lori. We'll keep you up to date.
Yeah.
But anyway, with Jelani Day, his cause of death has been released, and it was drowning. He was found in a river.
Yes.
Unfortunately, they do not know manner of death. Like they don't know how he got in the river. So they're not saying that he wasn't murdered,
Right.
but they're also not saying that he was at this
Right.
point. And his family, his mom in particular, is very upset by this because she's afraid that's going to take some attention away from his case.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that is not the case. So there's still a lot of investigation going on there.
Mm-hmm.
But we do know that he did in fact die of drowning and that he did not have any other injuries. There was no other indication on his body of like strangulation or injuries of any kind. He did in fact just drowned.
Yep.
So we're going to keep an eye on that.
Yep.
And see what happens.
That one's upsetting. That's got a lot of people super upset.
Yes, it does because it implies that this was an accidental death.
Yeah.
But it is still a mystery what happened to him and how his car got where it got and how his body got where it got, Yeah. So this case is not over. Yeah. And we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that.
Yeah.
The last one I have is on Cleo Smith. So we did Cleo's case this week.
Yeah.
Cleo is the 4-year-old little girl missing in Australia, in Western Australia. Yeah. She was kidnapped or taken in some way out of her family's tent in the middle of the night. And the police did just today serve a search warrant at her home, and they did take a bunch of stuff away from the home. The police are saying that this doesn't imply that they are accusing the parents, that this is just part of what they're doing. But they did take some things away from the house. It did appear that they did a big search around the outside of the house too, looking for any evidence of any kind of stalking going on, like someone had been, watching this little girl. They did say that they didn't find anything to indicate that.
Yeah.
But they did take some evidence out of the house. So we'll continue following the Cleo Smith case. Her mom has started posting on TikTok. Of course, her family is still very desperate. And the police are pretty baffled at this point about what has happened to her.
Yep.
So Mark Means
so bad.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible. So JR is saying Mark Means is saying the hospital is manipulating Lori and trying to get her to call the LDS church. I don't know what that means. Or to seek some counsel from her, to seek some religious counsel, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Might be. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on that and let you know. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we have on Cleo Smith. I was looking for anything on Elijah Lewis. I did Elijah Lewis as a pop-up,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a little boy his body was found. He was missing, and his body was found in Massachusetts. There still hasn't been anything come out about cause of death. I was just looking to see. That's where we're
Yeah.
at now. He's being autopsied, and I haven't found anything come out about his cause of death just yet.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yeah, Paula, I am with you. She feels like Cleo was taken by someone she knew. Agreed.
I have a super hard time understanding how you get a 4-year-old out of a tent where there's a baby and 2 adults sleeping and no one knows. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
cannot get my head around that at all.
Or if you do, how you knew she was going to be there and where she was going to be in the tent and like how the
Right, yeah.
logistics really played out. It's just hard. Yeah.
It's one of those multi-room tents. Well, how did you know which room she was in?
Yeah.
You know, like
All of it.
all of it. None of it
Mm-hmm.
works for me in my head. And so there's a lot
Wow, and just being in that
more.
sleeping bag, she was just this neat little package, you know?
Mhm.
She'll just slip right out. Ugh.
Yep. Yeah.
There is an update in the Alec Baldwin shooting.
Oh, yeah.
So the Hill is reporting that New Mexico officials say they've recovered hundreds of rounds of ammunition and other possible live rounds. So the one shot that they dug out of the guy's shoulder was a live round.
And how did that get into a prop gun?
Good question. This is what the sheriff said. The sheriff said, through the execution of search warrants, we have collected about 600 items of evidence. These include, but are not limited to, 3 firearms, approximately 500 rounds of ammunition, and several pieces of clothing and accessories. But yeah, they are saying that there were potentially live rounds mixed up with dummy shots.
Oh, that's so scary. Well, and that gun, they'd already been having problems with that gun misfiring earlier in the day.
Yeah.
And why they used it, I don't know. Yeah. Wasn't Brandon Lee's death an indication of why you shouldn't use real guns on set? Yeah, because he was killed with a prop gun. Exactly.
Yeah.
Bruce
Well,
Lee,
it's been really interesting since this happened to start listening to the prop people talk about how dangerous prop guns can be.
Yeah.
Because they are real guns. They are real guns. They're shooting blanks that basically they're shooting a bullet that doesn't have a projectile in it.
Right.
And if the gun hasn't been cleaned properly, if there's a shard or something in the gun from previous uses, it's possible that blanks can shoot accidentally. But it sounds like that was actually not the case here, that these were actually this was live ammunition.
Yeah, and how did that get there? How because they should never have live ammunition. So boy, I don't know. That's a scary one.
Oh, I'm sure Baldwin will compensate the family. I can't imagine how ill he must be. I'm so sad for him.
He's heartbroken. Wouldn't you be heartbroken? My
Oh,
gosh. It's awful.
it's horrible, horrible, horrible. But it seems like there'll be more coming out in this. It seems like the plot has thickened a little, to be honest. That this
It
maybe
surely
wasn't
does.
just a uncared for prop gun. But I follow a guy on TikTok called Tizzy Entertainment that is a film guy. And he's worked in props a lot. And he was talking about how when they practice, when they're like before a scene is like the final shooting of it, and they're practicing a scene, they use dummy guns, or he called them gummy guns. But at any rate, that's what they use when the prop master comes on to the set with live guns. There's an announcement, that live guns are on the set. As soon as the scene is over, they have to be returned to him, and he takes them off the set. There's all of these protocols in place that is supposed to help, prevent these kinds of things from happening. But at any rate, somehow something went horribly wrong here. Was it nefarious? Was it not? We don't know that
Or
yet.
was it
Was it
negligence?
just
Because
negligent? Yeah.
Chris is saying that
Yeah.
there's been something said that some of the crew actually used those guns for target practice, which means they did have some live rounds around.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Paula. Yeah, Jake is Cleo's stepfather, and that does, I hate to say it, but it does make me question.
I know.
So
Yeah.
JR is saying Mark Means is alleging in the Lori Vallow case, sorry, we're really jumping here, that the hospital staff are encouraging Lori to seek different legal representation through the LDS Church. That cracks me up.
Oh.
That's why Means is pissed,
Uh-huh.
because he's an idiot and they know it. The thing
Mm-hmm.
is, he's not her lead attorney anymore anyway. So this is
Right.
probably a whole lot of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Who is
you knew he
supervising
was
this?
going to pull this no matter what, because he wanted to
Mhm.
literally be privy to every conversation with every doctor that she had. Like he wanted to supervise every moment that she was in the custody of the state. And the state was like, nah, not happening.
Yeah.
I mean, he wanted her to be there and
Yeah.
pushed really hard for her to be committed. And now that she's there, he's pissed because he's out of control of the situation. So he's going
Right.
on court TV to bitch. Wow.
Right. Well, and pretty sure Jim Archibald is Mormon, so I mean, she probably does have a Mormon attorney. You don't understand what it takes to have a non-Mormon attorney around here. It's very unlikely. So, so that really cracks me up, because that's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. No, and the church would not provide an attorney or pay. They won't have
Oh
anything to
no,
do with that.
they don't want anything to do with this.
No,
They're
in
like,
fact,
please. Mm-mm.
we're pretty sure that they excommunicated her and
Yeah.
and Mark, that they kicked them both out. Of course they did.
Bad.
They have tried really hard to get distance from this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's just, it's not a thing.
Well, Mark's just mad because he is her blue-eyed angel baby. Don't you remember?
Right. Right. There's a weird, creepy relationship there, and I
Yeah.
think the state has broken that up a bit by giving her a different attorney. Yeah. So, well, wow, you guys, that is what we know
Yeah.
this week for our update.
Mm-hmm.
We will be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Mountain with the Psychic Hour.
Yes.
And it's at 7 p.m. because we're back to our normal
Yeah.
time. And then, of course, we'll have some pop-ups this weekend, and we had some great shows this week. So be sure to check those out if you haven't had a chance yet. But anything else you want to share, Kate?
I think that's it. There's been a lot going on per normal. Tell us about your necklace. Oh, it's brand new. My husband made it for me. Isn't it pretty?
It is. It's really pretty.
It's tell me.
Triskelion.
Triskelion. I always want to call it a triquetra. It's a triskelion.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, isn't that pretty? I love it. He just made it today, and I love it. I think I told you guys that I bought him maybe I didn't. I bought him, yesterday was his birthday, and the kids and I bought him a new, well, not just new, but we didn't have one, so, but 3D printer. So we've been playing, printing all kinds of cool stuff and having fun. And yeah, this is what came from it today.
Pretty cool. It is really cool. Paula, you wanted to ask us something? Go ahead really quick before we go. Yeah, Red Squirrel. Mark Means going on TV. Didn't he see what happened to the sheriff regarding neutrality? The Fremont County sheriff got his butt kicked in court.
Well, Jane, he is loving the printer. It is so much fun. Yeah, we're having a ball. It's awesome.
Well, I'm excited. I bought him some really cool filament for his birthday.
He's going to be thrilled.
I then immediately am going to request something cool made out of it because it's really awesome.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, and luckily he already has been using a CNC lathe, so another piece of equipment that I can't remember the name of right now. But anyway, pretty much all uses the same software. So he already understood that piece.
Oh, it does. Oh, wow.
which is
That's
pretty
really
good
cool.
because I just send him over files and say, I'd sure like this. And then he goes and makes it. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
GB, yeah, request something made. Oh, I'm going to.
yeah,
Definitely. All right. Well, I think
yeah,
maybe Polly get us next time, okay? And we will
yeah.
happily
Or
answer
just
your
comment
question.
on this. We'll see it for sure.
We will see it.
Yeah, and
All
tomorrow night
right.
we'll have a little witchy psychic hour since it's the
Yes.
last show before Halloween. Yeah. Oh, here she is.
Oh, would we be able to do a reading on little Cleo and see what we pick up? It is too early. It is not, we don't read active missing cases. We've not been asked to do that. And so ethically, we don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a thing about it because you see a lot of like YouTube psychics that get super aggressive and gross about these cases and that haven't been asked by the family or anything like that to do big public readings and make big proclamations. And, when it comes to cold cases that have been cold for a year or two, yeah, we'll start reading them. But these
Mhm.
brand new ones that are in the throes of it, we just don't. We just don't think it's right. I hear you
Yeah.
though. It is interesting to see. Uh, yeah,
See what's up there for sure. It
yeah.
is. Yeah. And so we'll do something Halloween-y for tomorrow night. All right, you guys. Well, you know it. You have been listening to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. Thanks for being here.
Take care.